नमस्ते डियर Unocoiners, एक बार फिर आप सबका स्वागत है in one of the other episodes of Conversation or like you call it Unocoins AMA session. तो आज का जो हमारा टॉपिक है which is around Bitcoin halving. तो जैसे कि हमको पता है that Bitcoin halving is coming up in a few months and it's very exciting because you know we can already see the turmoil coming up and the market sentiments all over the place and oh my god, it's just crazy. So we are going to have an interesting session around this particular topic today with your favorite Bitcoin speaker who's here with us after a very long time. So may I introduce the speaker and the expert guest for today, Mr. Sunny Ray, the co-founder and CEO of Unocoin, जो कि आज हमको इस particular session में बहुत सारी amazing insights देने वाला है. Like you already know, Sunny is a pro Bitcoiner and anything you want to know about Bitcoin, Sunny is the guy. So hi Sunny, how are you doing today?
Hey Shambhavi, can you hear me okay?
Yeah, absolutely
Yeah,
fine.
I'm doing great. How about yourself?
I'm great, and I'm so excited to have you on this AMA after so long.
Yeah, it's been a while. When's the last time
Yeah,
we did one of these? It's been at least a month or so, right?
yeah, because you know we were getting all of these external speakers and people were coming up, but
I
then of
love that.
course people are always ready to listen to the co-founder and the CEO of our company because you know you guys are the major spotlight. So there's that. So guys, if you can hear us properly and you can watch us properly, just hit the like button so that we can know that we are properly audible to you all. And this we will also get to know that okay, you're very enthusiastic for today's AMM. So Sunny, to start off, I mean, the what 7 months left to having now, which is 237 days, as we mentioned in our title of today's AMA. How excited are you?
Oh, I'm always excited about Bitcoin. And I think the topic on hand, on deck today is one of my favorites. I mean, because it speaks to one of the things that I think what a lot of Bitcoiners are attracted to, which is limited supply. The fact
Yes.
that Bitcoin is deflationary, the fact that there's only going to be 21 million Bitcoin. So I'm excited to be talking about this topic, and we'll see if people have some questions for us, and
Absolutely.
I'm pumped.
Absolutely, guys. So you know the drill. If you have any questions regarding this topic or anything in particular related to Bitcoin, just drop them down in the comment section. Or I think even related to crypto, Sunny would be happy to answer them in his own way. So absolutely, you can definitely drop them down in the comment section from wherever you're watching this AMA. So the comment section is open. You do your questions. Meanwhile, we'll start off with the discussion. So, Sunny, to know the very basics, what is a Bitcoin having for the people who might have joined us for the first time and who might be new to the concept?
So, I mean, okay, I'll start with a bit more of a technical answer and then I'll broaden out a little bit. Okay, so essentially, this is an event that occurs every 210,000 blocks on the Bitcoin network. And essentially, what it does is it reduces the miner's rewards by half. And the ultimate kind of effect of it is that the BTC supply rate starts to go down, right? And so just to back up a little bit, right, to use some analogies, because oh my god, I'm like kind of a little much with the analogies, but for me that's like the easiest way for the most number of people to understand, right? It's like, well, 210,000 blocks, what does that even mean? Okay, so you know how gold is essentially limited,
Mm-hmm.
right? And the beauty of gold is that as time goes on, it actually gets harder and harder to mine gold. And you can imagine why, because the gold is further and further under the ground. So you need better technology, better equipment, more money, more resources. And as a result, gold is scarce. And everybody knows that, especially people in India, right? And that's one of the reasons they value it. So in Bitcoin, right, when Satoshi Nakamoto came up with this protocol, what is it now, 12, 13 years ago now, had this infinite wisdom to identify that one of the tenets of gold that made it hard money could also be programmed into the actual protocol of Bitcoin. And as a result, decided that, and so maybe I'll go back a little bit more technical again. So if everyone remembers what curves look like, if you were to draw the curve of the Bitcoin supply, it actually starts at zero, and then it moves its way like this towards an asymptote. It's a line that is of 21 million. and it forever approaches that 21 million. And
Mhm.
the way that is actually played out in practice is through the number of Bitcoin that comes out every 10 minutes is halved. It's essentially being halved at the halving point. So in the beginning, I believe it was 50 Bitcoins that was being issued every 10 minutes. And then it was after 4 years, the first halving, it reduced to half of that, so about 25 Bitcoins. And then it goes to 12 and a half, and then half that and half that. And and that's how it maintains it. So over time, every 4 years, there's this kind of step function that just introduces this halving. And since that keeps happening over and over again until infinity, Bitcoin gets limited. And again, like I said, it from a mathematical perspective, it's like this line at 21 million, and this curve just keeps approaching it like this, and it never really hits it. Yeah, I don't know if that kind of, and why that's important, because more people wake up to the fact that Bitcoin is limited, and that creates more interest in Bitcoin, right? It's like, how can this digital thing be limited? Like, everything digital is not limited by design, by nature. So again, I think it is literally one of the coolest things about Bitcoin. Yeah.
Absolutely, I agree. I think, Sunny, I don't know if you had a chance to look at it, but I did this one YouTube video. Okay, that is on how is Bitcoin the ideal money. So there we are comparing the characteristics of money with the characteristics of Bitcoin, and actually it was quite contradicting because we don't know the supply of the current rupee or the dollar that we actually have in our pockets. But with Bitcoin, we do have a limited supply, which is known to everyone. That's 21 million, and this is whole process of having you know keep reminding people of the fact that it's scarce and it's interesting. So we have got a couple of comments over here. Let's have a look. Okay, three of them. Okay. Mazula Khan here is saying Bitcoin halving with a thumbs up. Yes, big thumbs up, and we are very excited and waiting for it. Crypto Trailblazers here is saying Bitcoin halving is nature's way of ensuring digital scarcity, reminiscent of gold mining, but for the digital age. I think it makes a lot of sense.
Who said that? Oh my God, we should
That's
have that person on as our next speaker. I just said a bunch of gobbledygook. Good job, Crypto Trailblazer.
yeah. I mean that's a very nice way to put it
I
together.
love it.
Yeah.
Very poetic.
Agreed. There is Sari Sarna Production House. Okay. Hi, I'm from Bhubaneswar. Hi, we are based in Bangalore. Sunny is in Canada. So we're all, talking from different places. If you have any questions, sure, let us know in the comment section. We'll be happy to answer that to you. Okay, now moving forward, Sunny, we know that this particular Bitcoin halving has a major impact for the crypto industry as a whole, not just Bitcoin but crypto industry as a whole, because we have seen historically that it drives the bull run. So, what do you have to say about that whole historical thing? Why does this happen, and if it happens, is it a good motive, or like what is your opinion on this?
Well, I mean, the first thing I'll say, as somebody who used to be a financial advisor like a long time ago, is that historical performance does not, dictate future anything, right? Again, the beautiful thing about Bitcoin is that is that at least the supply, one side of it, is highly predictable, meaning that I can tell you with assurance what will happen a year from now, 10 years from now, 100 years from now. Now, the price is a function of supply and demand. So supply is one half of it, but demand is the other. So again, what happens, we don't know. Now, when Shambhavi is referring to the kind of the past, yes, we have seen around, and again, is it only because of the happening that it's happening? Are there other reasons? I mean, you can't, what is it? What is that famous saying? Causation is not, anyway, so it's hard to determine whether it's exactly because of this. But there are a lot of theories around that because if you think about it, the supply of Bitcoin is known, meaning even a shift in the happening, right, doesn't give the market any new information. So technically, it should be fed into the market. Do you know what I mean? Because but for some reason or another, maybe because of Satoshi's genius and this 4-year cycling and all this, is like it does create some sort of energy, right? Like you and me, we're not even close to it. We're 230 days, and here we are celebrating, the happening. So I think psychologically it probably does play a bit of a part. And again, I think it's just a stark reminder that guess what, it's running away from us, and just like time. And so Bitcoin, we should be embracing it. We should be working towards capturing our life force into it somehow, even if it's a fraction of our what we earn every month. I think it's important because we've seen now in the last 10 years, in the last since Unocoin's inception, that Bitcoin has really skyrocketed, right? Like I remember when I first met Satvik, Bitcoin was sitting at like $10, $20, like 500 rupees. And today, look where it is, right? So yeah, I do think it has an impact. Now, will it have an impact in the future? Like, again, nobody knows. I think a lot of people suspect that it may.
Absolutely. And I think, more than that, there's another interesting factor that actually I believe that will affect the price is the whole ETF hype. I mean, it's been driving people crazy since Wednesday, ever since that whole judgment thing came along around Grayscale's petition, and now it has been granted a review by the judge, and it's so interesting. Funny thing, I was just reading that judgment, and the judge happens to mention that SEC never gave any solid explanation for discarding this particular listing. So that kind of shows, that maybe we can still have a lot of faith in our judiciary system, and then we can hope for the best. So, what do you
Yeah,
think
this was a
about
big week. This was a big week in terms of, I mean, it seemed like big news, right? With the SEC ruling around GBTC and Grayscale.
Yes.
Yeah, I don't. So wait, what was the question again, though? What do I think about what
The
ETFs
whole
and the
ETF
ETF?
hype that's
Yeah,
happening and the whole judgment that came along?
I'm an advisor to something called 3IQ, which is actually a company out of Canada that launched something like an ETF. It's not an ETF, but it's a fund, BTC fund. And that was something that Fred, who's really the main guy behind it and did all the hard work, and essentially is very, very successful now. And so, I think in general, what it does, like ETFs and all, it just opens the world of Bitcoin up to a much, much larger group of people, right? Because a lot of people, they might not have, let's say, an account with some exchange and go through the process of buying a Trezor and a Ledger and figuring all this out, but they know how ETFs work because they have, they're buying other ETFs and mutual funds and all that stuff. So I think in kind of short, I think the ETFs, in my view, what they'll do is they'll open up Bitcoin for far more people to get
Yes.
involved, and thus you could argue that would create more demand, right? And so again, if the supply, like we said, the Bitcoin halving, et cetera, is limited and is known, then when these types of events happen, where you can imagine how like ginormous numbers of people, institutions, companies can now get involved in a very, in a traditionally regulatory kind of clear way. It what it does is you suspect that it might have an upward pressure on the Bitcoin price. The flip side to this whole conversation, right? And for me, it's more like, I don't know, I find it hard to believe one thing or the other or get too emotional about one thing. It's more just like observing it, and and it just kind of is, right? But the other side of it is people argue, oh, BlackRock, BlackRock is like in some ways considered to be the people who control the world. And you hear Joe Rogan and all these people talking about it, Jordan Peterson, and they're right to some extent, right? I mean, these entities are
Really.
larger than most nation states. They're just ginormous. And so what kind of control can they now? I mean, I just read last week that BlackRock had, like major investments in 4 out of the 5 public Bitcoin mining operations. So what does that mean, right?
That
What does
was
that mean with
included
these?
Tether as well, if I'm not wrong. No, no, there was some news. I don't exactly remember, but it was around that. So yeah, I mean,
Mm,
absolutely.
I mean, I'm confident and I'm actually hopeful and I actually expected this, right? This was kind of the goal when we got into this 10 years ago. We thought the whole world, the whole universe eventually will accept Bitcoin. Actually, maybe not the whole universe. That's probably for another podcast. But no, I do think that this will open up to another giant sphere of, like I said, institutions, and I don't think we've seen anything yet. I don't think we've seen anything yet. I think Bitcoin is just getting warmed up, as you see El Salvador, and now they're like, have you heard of the Argentinian guy? It's all over
Yeah,
Twitter.
this,
There's a guy with like this wild hair. He's like talking about Bitcoin and how if he becomes a president, and supposedly he's like the guy who's expected to win. And he's talking about Bitcoin in a way that I've never heard any politician speak of it. So it'll take time. Like I said, don't hold your breath. but I think the writing's on the wall. And then, oh my God, Elon Musk just announced, what is it, yesterday, that crypto and all exchange, I guess,
yes,
whatever
yes. So they're
functionalities.
integrating, X is basically integrating the whole crypto trading, storing and transferring system into it. And I think it was Rhode Island that gave them that license. And I actually have a piece on it. Like when our weekly news will be going live, that's
Lovely.
in that already. So guys, do follow our social media channels to stay updated on all sorts of news that's coming. And there's a very interesting piece we do every week. It's like a weekly news or wrap up of all the major news updates that happened all along the week. So do follow our social media channels. Now, to come back to the comment section, Sunny, we have got a lot of comments here. Let's see. Karthik Gamer FF is saying, I'm Ashutosh. I think Karthik Gamer, you don't need to give your address to us in the comment section.
Yeah, let's not show that then. Make
Yeah,
sure.
yeah. Sudhindra here is saying, "Hey, hi. How does halving has historically affected the price of Bitcoin?" So we had a
I think
little
we
discussion.
I think we kind of addressed it. Yeah, maybe. I mean, so historically, it's had kind of. I mean, it seems like there's a bit of a correlation if you look at the graphs, but it's hard to pinpoint. But maybe I'll just kind of talk about another. I mean, not another, but like I think I just want to emphasize again why. So we said halvening is happening. That means that Bitcoin is deflationary, right? But maybe a lot of people don't know. But the rupee and the dollar. Do you know what it is? Is it also deflationary or? No, right? It's inflationary. So what does inflation mean? Do you know? Have
Yeah,
you? Yeah. So do you want to explain
inflation.
it? Because I think like explaining like why this is so important is kind of important, right? So like I don't know. Do you want to take a stab at it?
Absolutely. So basically, if in the most simplest terms, if I were to explain inflation, it's like if you're paying 5 rupee for a packet of milk today, and if you have to pay 7 rupees a day later, the same packet of milk, so the value of your rupee is decreasing. That is basically inflation.
And why is that occurring?
Because obviously they're producing more currencies, and there's an infinite number that they can increase it to, and of course,
And
there's no control.
we should probably have this number. I don't have it in front of me, but something like some absurd number of US dollars that did not exist 2 years ago exist today. Like it's like 40% or something giant. Um, and so the point is that the fiat system, the dollars, the rupees, the thing that we traditionally call money, is highly inflationary because money, just like everything else, is subject to the principles of economics, which is supply and demand. And if you increase the supply, then and the demand is about the same or it's going up a little bit,
Price will
then
go
then
down.
obviously the price will go down, including the price of money. And it is, I believe, one of the most important things that people can understand. And if they get that, then they can start to appreciate like just one of the things of why Bitcoin is so revolutionary, you know. But yeah, okay. So do we need to take any more questions, or I had
Yeah.
a bunch of. And by the way, I was unable to access your doc. I
Oh, I
requested
actually
access.
gave you the access. Oh,
Okay, cool, cool, cool. Okay, I'll open it up. But I
yeah.
also have a bunch of like notes that I had made about stuff we can talk about. But I'll open up yours.
Okay, great. So here we have a few more questions. We'll quickly finish them up. In the meanwhile, if we get any more, great. So here we are having. Sari Sarna Production House again. Can I do algo trading in crypto? Algo trading, I don't clearly get your context. Is it a particular coin you're talking about or a type of trading? Please let us know in the comment section so that we can give you a detailed answer on that. Os- Oscillator here is saying BTC halving is start of the crypto rally. So yeah, we kind of had a discussion on this, if Bitcoin halving is the start of the crypto rally or not. Like we said, historically things can never, be taken as a base to predict the things in the future. But of course, I mean, this is not just about having, there are a bunch of other things happening around like Bitcoin ETF. Then there's a lot of things. You go search around, the market sentiment and the demand and supply ratio is basically what is going to tell you if there's going to be a Bitcoin rally or not. So definitely keep your hopes up, and I think it's gonna be great. What BTC? Okay. What are the potential challenges of BTC having? This is a good question by Malika Arjun here.
What are the potential challenges of BTC having? I mean, the biggest challenge I can see is that there'll be less Bitcoin coming out every 10 minutes. So they'll just become more scarce, and it'll be a challenge for us to get this, get more Bitcoin because there'll be less of them coming into production. So I mean, maybe you're talking about, are there some technical challenges for, the Bitcoin having to actually kind of execute? My understanding, no, it's always kind of, seamlessly gone from like the halving has always happened. Now it'd be interesting. Actually, I recently got connected to some really, really, what you want to say, like hardcore Bitcoin core developers that are in India. So
Okay.
it might be, yeah, very, very exciting. I don't know, but they're all very kind of a little bit more obviously, not like willing to come on the internet all the time. They're a little bit different, but I would love to bring. So if anyone's maybe out there that wants to come on and talk a little bit in terms of like from a Bitcoin core perspective and what's going on, I think that would be a real, like, so I talk about Bitcoin all the time, but even a lot of my discussions are somewhat periphery and kind of high level. But I would love to be able to bring on somebody very, very technical, and we do a bit of a deep dive. But no, from my understanding, there's not like a major challenge in the happening in terms of the execution of it. It's not like a hard fork or some weird introduction of something that the system's not aware of.
Great. I mean, yeah, absolutely. Uh, we would love to have one such person on board, and we keep looking for external speakers to get you people more and more insights on topics that you want to hear about. And our upcoming topic is very interesting because it's specifically focusing on the Bitcoin ETF hype, and it says, will Bitcoin ETF make you a billionaire or a millionaire? So well, that is going to be very interesting because we're going to explore what kind of opportunities does the ETF bring to you, and is it even something that you can think of utilizing in the coming days as it is approved and things. So absolutely do join us next week also. In the meantime, to go ahead with today's EMA, let's
I was going to say one thing. So I was just trying to think about that last point, right? I think one challenge, now that I think about it, might be for miners, right? So like if, like, so for example, let's say you're a miner and you generate, let's just pick a number, 10 Bitcoins a day, right? Um, and then let's say that generates you, I'm just making up numbers, $100,000 or something in revenue, and your cost for your business is $80,000 or something, and you make 20,000. If all of a sudden overnight, let's say the Bitcoin price did not go up, then instead of making $100,000 or whatever and 10 selling or making 10 Bitcoins, you're making 5 Bitcoins, you're making 50,000, but your still expenses are 80,000, right? So that I could see being problematic if there isn't, some sort of like sufficient rise potentially in Bitcoin price. But even still, the Bitcoin system just has this like knack for adapting. Even when you saw China banned Bitcoin mining, what was it, a couple of years ago, like the Bitcoin network didn't skip a beat. It just kind of moved over to the US, to Texas, other places, and just kept going. So anyways, but I did think, I mean, now that I'm thinking about it in terms of like technical challenges, I'd imagine miners, if I was a miner, I'd be a little bit, worried around that time. Because let's say the Bitcoin price, instead of doubling, it like halves, right? So that could have implications on your operations. We should also think about getting a miner on here. That'd be fun.
I mean, yeah, we'll get to know how is this worked. It's like, practically someone who's cooking the food for you every day, and you don't know the efforts they're putting in cooking that food, and you're just simply enjoying that. So that would be something like that, and very interesting to know that challenges, day to day, activities, how they go through the things and stuff. Absolutely, I think it's a great idea. Okay. So, Sunny, we have a couple more questions in the comments. So, do you want to go ahead with what you have in notes, or should I take them first?
Yeah, take a question or two, or we can go to your prep doc or anything. I mean, if I don't know the answer, I'll just say so.
Absolutely. So, there's again oscillator who's asking here, how is the financial health of crypto exchanges in India considering the Indian government's anti-crypto stance, low trading volumes, and the bear market?
No comment. No, I'm kidding. Things are, I don't know. I can't comment on other people's exchanges, that's for sure. Because I don't know what's going on over there. I recently heard about a bunch of layoffs at some of the competing exchanges last week and whatnot. So I'm sure, some companies are tightening their belts and are figuring out how to weather the bear market. Unocoin, for what it's worth, we've been through like 4 bear markets, I think, since 2011. So we've kind of figured out, I don't know, our investors, Tim Draper and Adam Draper, they have this quote about, or this like kind of thing about being a cockroach. And I know most people in India and the world probably hate cockroaches or the thought of them, but cockroaches are actually kind of interesting in that even if there was nuclear warfare, they would still survive. They have this uncanny ability to survive. So Unocoin, we know how to survive. We also know how to thrive. And I think for us, we were kind of lucky because we've been around for a long time as well, and we have a lot of customers that trust us and use our platform. And Bitcoin, yes, during bull markets, it's like exciting, but the truth is Bitcoin is used by people to do so many things. On our platform, it's not just, oh, buy some Bitcoin. There's other crypto. There's also gift cards. There's the ability to top up your cell phone. You can use systematic investment plan and dollar cost average. So usually during these downtimes, the smarter people tend to accumulate because with the same amount of money, you can get more Bitcoin. So I think, and we also have a lot of different products and services on our platform, the brokerage, the exchange. I think those things really help us, kind of weather the storm and in a weird way, Unocoin, we get kind of excited during bear markets because, it kind of separates the people who really care about the mission and the vision versus those people who are kind of just in it for number go up or whatever, yeah, so I don't think Unocoin's laid off anybody throughout the last year and a half. We don't have any plans to, or, but you also don't see our name on cricket ads. You don't see us hiring, Amitabh Bachchan or something like that. We try and kind of just stay on the straight and narrow and do what we know best. And yeah, so not to take stabs at our competitors. We think that it's great that they're bringing so much recognition to the space. But for us, we have different priorities. It's more around education, awareness. I value the fact that you do these, live streams like clockwork every week. And so we just focus on what's within our control. But to sum it up, Unocoin is doing great. We make more money than we spend, and we have we have some of the best investors supporting us, like Tim Draper and Barry Silbert, Adam Draper, Max Kaiser, and these people support us in not just financial ways, but also in terms of just like being an inspiration, right? And like GBTC, what we talked about earlier, is actually Barry Silbert's, DCG's, one of their main subsidiaries. So yeah, and they're also Barry Silbert invested in us back in 2014, and so these are people that have believed in us. Tim Draper, the quote that's on our website about him, he said he was tracking us for 5 years. And then it was only after the court case in the RBI that he decided to pull the trigger and invest. And so I think once you've been through things like that, like, you know, what Harish and Satvik went through with the court case and everything, these kind of things like bear markets are nothing, because, you know, these are expected. These are market dynamics. These are cyclical in nature. But anyways, we're really excited. Look, spread the word though. Tell your friends about Unocoin. You know, I think we can give referral fees, and we have all these things. And so, yeah. And you know, I think I'll just one more thing is another thing I'm really, really proud of with Unocoin is that we are, from my understanding, the only company in India since the beginning till today that has both fiat and crypto on ramps and off ramps.
Yes.
I won't point at any competitors, but the point is, it's like a minefield out there, and it's either on or off, and they'll lose it, they bring it back, regulatory issues, this, that. Last week, we shared a picture on our Twitter feed where Harish was training, you know, 100 police officers. Like,
Yes.
you know, so for us, it's always about doing things the right way. And, you know, and I think Bitcoiners sometimes or like, let's say entrepreneurs even, they'll try and cut corners. And I think I mean, obviously the biggest credit goes to Harish and Satvik and the team, like people like you. But yeah, I don't know. I think doing it the right way definitely pays off. And we are, you know, obviously preparing for the bull run, and you know, yeah, so we're excited. So stay tuned. Maybe
Absolutely.
that was a bit of too long of a rant.
Absolutely. So, like Sunny said, spread the word, guys. Tell your friends about us if you like, and if you're liking the AMA so far, do retweet it, reshare it from wherever you're watching it. That'll mean the world to us, and also the person who does it the most will get a special mention from Unocoin as one of our greatest followers. So, yeah, please do that. We would be honored if you do that. So, just yeah, go ahead. Then the next question, Sunny, that we have over here is from NPC. NPC's question is: will the price drop after BTC halving, or would it boom after the halving? Your price quote up to how much BTC may have an all-time high. This could be tomorrow's headline, actually.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, no, like I said, I mean, nobody knows exactly. But it could go up, you know, it could go up. There's just so many variables. Like, but I know, I think I've said this before, but the trying to predict the price of Bitcoin short term is like trying to predict the position of like an atom inside a glass of water. It's like impossible. But if you're trying to predict the potential price, like in a longer period of time, let's say 10 years, it's a little bit easier, and it's more like trying to predict the temperature of water as you heat it up, like a minute from now. You can kind of do that. So yeah, so I guess like any particular action is really hard to predict, but the aggregate, and again, these are just like feelings, thesis, you know, and again, as we say in the beginning of this session here, you know, do your own research,
Yes.
and you know, and nobody knows. But however, yeah, I think most people believe that Bitcoin is just getting warmed up, meaning like I personally believe that as well. I think that, and you know, as you suggested, Bitcoin will probably lead the crypto run, and it always does. And I think it'll be driven by very different variables this time, such as institutional adoption, things like nation states adopting it, large companies adopting it, you know, home offices, and I mean, they're all already getting in, but I think there'll be like a large kind of influx of people. Now, one thing I wanted to mention is that, like, when we were talking about BlackRock and stuff, we were kind of saying, hey, this could be like a dark, like negative thing, and maybe they can use this to control Bitcoin. But it should be
That's going to be one of
like
my questions.
highlight. Yeah, I was gonna say it should be highlighted that yes, they can do certain jugad, as they say in India, right? However, the kind of the elements of Bitcoin are baked into the actual like code of Bitcoin in a way that no one party, person, individual, company, nation state can disrupt its its kind of its operation. And so as more and more countries get involved, and sanctions and this and that, I mean, you're probably hearing about BRIC and what happened 2 weeks ago with India doing trade with, I mean, this is these things are just ginormous. Like, people don't realize, like, this is essentially like the first signaling of, like, actual signaling of moving away from the US dollar as the petrodollar, right? As like really the main means that the world is kind of, you can say, controlled, right? So I think the fact that India and all these other countries, and I think what recently a whole bunch of other countries joined BRIC. I forget how many of them, but it represented like 50% of the world population. 50% of the world population, right? And they're now saying, hey, we're going to deal in something different. And when maybe they'll wake up one day and they'll say, hey, we'll include Bitcoin as a part of that basket. Why? Because it's even more neutral than rupees or rubles or pesos or anything else, right? And so anyways, to the person's point, though, I don't know, I think I probably missed it.
Quoting the future price of Bitcoin.
Who knows? I just talked about a bunch of other random things. We don't know. We think 10x, 100x. It's keep I like look, I used to predict $1 million price Bitcoin. I laugh at that prediction now because I don't think because I thought the world would just get better and more people would wake up, and if you consider Bitcoin as a thermometer, if you can, as like a way of keeping check on the financial systems, the people haven't really woken up. Like, the people haven't woken up, and so as a result, I think Bitcoin will just keep surprising people. Yeah, and again, I'm not saying go put your life savings into it. Usually, it's not a good idea to put more than 1% of what you earn or what your net worth is, especially if you're hearing about this stuff for the first time. Do your own research and really learn. But yeah, I think, anyways, and again, when will that hit that price? I don't know. I won't put a timing on it,
I
so I
mean,
can't get in trouble. Yeah.
lately there have been so many predictions by Kathy Wood, by I
What
think
did she say?
Arthur
What did she say?
Harris. I have a full bunch of document where they've said, I don't have it right now with me, but I was researching for one of my video scripts where I'm explaining if they're saying this, why are they saying this, what is their analysis behind that. So there's going to
Beautiful.
be one
Yeah.
video around that that's going to be live. So guys, do make sure that you subscribe to our YouTube channel to stay tuned. There's one very interesting video coming up for you, which is around will Shiba Inu hit $1 or not. So probably Sunny just laughed off on that. Well, I know, Sunny,
You
it is
never know. You
a
never
notion
know.
we, there was one email with Satvik around Shibarium. So there we were getting this question in plenty. Will it hit 1 rupee? Will it hit $1? So we thought, okay, we might as well just take all of this question, make one nice video and explain it. Why will it happen if it happens? And why is it of no use even if it happens? So that's a very interesting video. You guys should definitely check it out. And for that, you need to subscribe to our YouTube channel and stay tuned. And obviously, click the bell icon so that you can be notified whenever that video is up and live. So definitely just do watch that. It'll clear out a lot of notions for you around cryptocurrencies and the basic calculations around how it works. Now, taking the question from here again, Oscillator is asking here an interesting question, which I think most of us know the answer to. He's asking, what is your stance on Ethereum, or are you all in Bitcoin?
You want to take that question?
So, Oscillator, I'm hoping that this is a new thing to you. You have come here for the first time. So, if you would have watched some of our AMAs with Sunny before, you would know that Sunny is a pro Bitcoiner, like hardcore pro Bitcoiner. And you talk to him about any other cryptocurrency, he would simply discard and give you the proper reason of discarding it, and considering Bitcoin instead. So, yeah, I think he's all in BTC.
Yeah, but in short, I think, I'm a big fan of the free market. So I will always, defend the ability for Vitalik or anyone for that matter to do what they please. But on a personal note, And just to keep going down that route, I think Ethereum has done a lot of good things. This, like, if you look at most of the finance, like the decentralized finance that's happening in this universe, is happening, in that world, not in Bitcoin. And pay credit where credit is due, right? Like, I've been one of the biggest, I would say, naysayers, kind of like always poo-pooing on Ethereum. But the truth is like I said, they've done, a lot of great things. I see it as like if for example, if Bitcoin was this, like, let's say the spaceship that Elon Musk is building to go to Mars, Ethereum is my Nintendo 64. I think Nintendo's great, and I think people should play games, but they're like kind of not on the same level. Like, one is trying to like change the face of the universe, and the other one is time pass. A little bit. Now. With that said, I do think that so there's a lot of topics right now in Bitcoin around drive chain. People are going crazy right now with Paul Stork, who I've interviewed in the past, Adam Back, and everybody's going back and forth about drive chain. We could do a whole topic on that. And the idea behind it is to essentially bring Ethereum-like functionality to Bitcoin, right? But there's just a lot of history there, and Bitcoiners are very, very risk averse. And you could say the thing I really appreciate about Bitcoin is that Bitcoin is focused on being a really good hard money, right? And Ethereum has provided like a nice test bed, right, for people to try new ideas and try different things. Unfortunately, there's been a lot of bad players, right? I mean, let's face it. Like, if we don't call out our own industry, who's going to, right? And so I think it's important to call that out. And that's why I always tell people exercise extreme caution. I mean, even in Bitcoin, I just said, even though I love Bitcoin, I've spent the last 11 years of my life dedicating myself towards it. I'm still saying Bitcoin's an experiment. Don't put more than 1% of what you earn in it, which is like still like fairly conservative. So now Ethereum, I would say like 1% of that 1%, right? And kind of going further, and in the sense that people should be. So now, if you're someone who's a multi-millionaire, you can afford it. It's not going to make you lose sleep at night and not going to affect your retirement. By all means, like, if you really believe in it, do what you need to do. But for most people, I do recommend that the best thing you can do is learn. Is like just read and learn and educate yourself and start with Bitcoin. And once you have a grasp of Bitcoin, then maybe think about other things. But question deeply. Like I said, I've been in this space for 10 years. I've yet to find a reason for other things. Like, it's like I said, it's fun, it's interesting. Oh, it's a DEX, okay, ICO, okay, NFT, but they're all cute. Like, think about NFT. Like, who's talking about NFT today? 6 months ago, NFT is gonna change the world, right? And only like there's a few people that was saying, hey, maybe this stuff is a bit fluffier than we think, right? And ICOs a couple of years before that, oh, that's the new craze. So it's important to just like calm down, chill out, and have a long time preference, and Bitcoin fits that narrative.
I mean, absolutely. I also believe that all of these things have different sort of utilities for different kind of things. And Bitcoin in itself, the idea I like is that it's been original since the very start. Now we see the BRC20 chain coming up, which was like a month ago, couple months ago, which created a lot of hype around it. It was interesting. But the core value of Bitcoin hasn't changed. But whereas for other things, they're just constantly developing. So like this like I keep talking about the YouTube channel. I've been creating so much of dynamic
I'm
content.
so happy. Yeah, I gotta check them more out. Like, yeah. But
Yeah,
yeah,
that's great. So
I think we need to change the music on it though. I don't know if we have already or not.
no, that is for the news. For music, for the video, it's
Oh,
different. Yeah.
got it.
So there's one video basically comparing Ethereum versus Bitcoin, and it practically says that since Ethereum is in a constantly developing stage, it actually has a higher risk potential as compared to Bitcoin. But Bitcoin has gotten stable in terms of its price volatility in the past few years. So it talks about that whole scenario. So if you guys get some time, just go
You
check
know
it
what?
out.
You should be our guest on the next live stream. I can interview you. I think it would be
No.
way more interesting. Yeah, because people have heard me say all these things a million times, but I think because you're just learning all of it in the last year, 2 years, right? So yeah, I think your perspective is probably going to be very interesting for a lot of people. Yeah. So what else we got? I think we got a few minutes left, right? So
Yeah,
do you want to
we
take any more questions from the crowd, or do you have some more
I
questions
think,
queued?
yeah, guys, if you have got any more questions, definitely drop them down in the comment section. In the meantime, I have got a lot of questions, which is again regarding halving, like coming back to the original topic. So we saw the Litecoin halving recently, Sunny, and people were making a lot of predictions around the price rally and everything. But we know that Litecoin is known as the silver to Bitcoin's gold, and blah blah blah. There's a lot of comparative things that people say, like, okay, Litecoin and Bitcoin. But the major thing that I came across after the halving was done was that the price did not rally as much as people thought it would. And it was a bit of a disappointment. Then there were predictions, okay, it's going to happen later, it's going to happen at a slow pace. So can we say the same about Bitcoin, or Bitcoin has a different way of working?
Bitcoin is the only game in town. Bitcoin is. I mean, look, I'm a huge fan of silver. I think silver's awesome. Um, but I don't get how Charlie Lee and I don't know. I don't. He's not even a part of it. I mean, the founder dumped all his coins. So I mean, if that doesn't speak, anyways, he changed three parameters in Bitcoin, literally three parameters, and called it Litecoin. Anyways, so I'm meditating a lot. I'm trying to really get over my disdain for everything. See, like I said, I like open source, so from that perspective, all of it is good. And Unocoin, we support it, and we believe in freedom. So buy what you want. But no, all roads lead to Bitcoin. All roads. That should be Unocoin's like saying or something. Instead of crypto ka super app, we should try all roads lead to Bitcoin. That's why we support a gift card. That's why we support crypto, because you can buy your crypto, but more importantly, you can take your crypto and buy Bitcoin. We support banking. Why? Because you can use your rupees to buy Bitcoin or go the other way. But ultimately, all roads lead to Bitcoin. Yeah, including Litecoins. If Bitcoin doesn't move, it's nothing's. I don't
But
think it's really gonna happen.
okay, a little. I know you're not much of any other coin person, but I really want to know this from you. We saw this
Yeah.
whole XRP winning the lawsuit thing in the past. I think a couple of weeks ago it happened, and there was a huge surge in the price of XRP, and people are kind of very bullish on XRP. What is your take on that?
You're like, I got him. You had this look on your face. You're like, finally, I've stumped him. Okay, so I'm like trying to be like politically correct here. Okay, long story short, we list XRP, so I can't hate on it. I know people at Ripple. Just like a little like funny joke that I think most people won't even get is I remember in a meeting like 5 years ago with a team of like 20 people from Ripple. They did this huge like demo and everything, and at the end I was like, guys, that was stellar. People won't get that. So the founder of Stellar actually started Ripple. Anyway, so my point is there's only one Bitcoin. Ah, look, for example, cross-border remittance is kind of one of their big thesis, right? Um, I remember when we were trying to run a test a few years ago to demonstrate XRP's ability to facilitate cross-border remittance. We hit a hiccup, and they just realized that there wasn't enough liquidity, for example, on both sides of the fence. So what did they have to do? They had to buy Bitcoin with XRP on the, let's say, country number one exchange. They had to move Bitcoin over that ocean and then buy XRP with Bitcoin and then say that XRP was used, right? So I'm always up for being proved wrong, and show me, like, again, we even Unocoin right now, we think remittance is a big opportunity. So we are in talks with even Ripple, right? So I don't want to talk smack about them, and I hope that they can offer a better solution than Bitcoin for solving some of these giant problems. I've yet to be proved right? Whereas Lightning seems to be working quite well, right? So look, and like I said, at the end of the day, all I care about is like, the free market and the best solution to solve a given problem. And so
Mhm.
if XRP can do that, if stable coins can do that better than Bitcoin, then I would prefer that. But I think the jury's still out, so maybe give us maybe a month or two, because we're running a bunch of like tests to see what's up, and maybe they'll delight me at one point. But I think fundamentally XRP has been interesting, but again, it's super centralized, and like I said, like I don't know. I mean, like what fundamental problem does it solve that Bitcoin doesn't? Bitcoin can go cross border. Bitcoin, has all these, like, has lightning now, so you can do, cheap international remittances and all this stuff. So I kind of get lost in terms of like the narratives of all these companies and entities, and it's like, what have you done outside of what Bitcoin already has demonstrated, right? And I struggle to find that, right? And people will say, oh, we're doing now, if you look at Ripple's website, oh, DeFi, we're going to do this, that. Let's see, time will tell. Time will tell. Yeah,
Absolutely.
all roads lead to Bitcoin.
I think all of these coins are going to do great to give a concluding statement. And yeah, it's interesting. It's just more interesting to see the hype that goes around when a certain news comes up. And then I just see people going crazy on Twitter, which is now, by the way, X. So it's very interesting. And I mean, yesterday's news of Twitter transforming into this multi-use. Well, now I think there was one last quote from Elon Musk which said that you wanna make Twitter a multi-use kind of an application. So maybe we are yet to see more versatility around that. So absolutely, I mean things are great that comes up. So one last
But
question,
he
Sunny.
did say they're not launching X Coin. That was a rumor, because people were
Oh,
saying, "Oh, X Coin is coming" or something, and
I don't
so
think I've heard of it. No, I don't think it's
yeah.
something like it's gonna come. But yeah, I mean it's Elon Musk; he can do
But I
anything.
mean, Elon Musk will probably, I mean, not probably, he's already embraced Doge, right? And so there you go, right? There's a prime example. Like, am I smarter than Elon Musk? Definitely, probably not, right? So this is why I love Unocoin, right? The most, because it's like you decide, right? You make your own decision ultimately,
The
and
main core extract of what Bitcoin's purpose was: power in your hands. You decide.
yeah,
Absolutely.
and Satoshi made it open source for a reason, right? So that other people could just run with it and make something. And I think that's one of the most beautiful things. So I think to have ill feelings towards these projects is kind of unfounded. I think, like I said, like there's a lot of unfortunate scammers and people who have done rug pulls and all that. And so I'm mostly trying to like protect people from that, right? But it's not my, I guess, job to protect everyone. It's just, yeah, when you've been in the space for so long, you just want to make sure that, like I said, you embrace the real innovation, which is Bitcoin. Like this whole party started because of Bitcoin. Bitcoin is the one that leads every bull run. And when you can appreciate that and understand it to its full extent, then go do whatever you want with your, Bitcoin. If you want to, put in other things, so be it.
Absolutely. So, Sunny, one last question before we end our session for today. We have seen
Mhm.
that in the last bull run, which was in 2020, 2021, it was kind of followed after the halving, and halving particularly got a lot of media attention and the community's attention. Like a lot of things were happening, and basically a person who didn't even know about Bitcoin got to know about Bitcoin because of the media attention it got. So, do you think that the upcoming halving might drive a kind of mainstream acceptance for it in the financial world?
Yes, in short, I think there's definitely a good chance, and for the reason you just described so nicely, which is that people start talking about it, and it does generate buzz, and then it refocuses kind of the world's attention towards one of the most important things, which is that it's scarce and that there's just less and less of them coming out every year. And so when and that spurs more people to converse between one another and think and ask themselves questions around what the purpose of money is and what is inflation and why does it feel like we're stuck in a matrix, and like how do we escape it, right? And so Bitcoin is that escape valve. And yeah, so I think the writing's on the wall. I'm losing my voice because it's like for 10 years I'm talking about Bitcoin, but I think people are waking up now. I don't think it's like a secret anymore. I mean, I woke up even a couple days ago listening to Narendra Modi talk about Bitcoin and AI and or crypto rather and AI and this and that. So it's like, I think it's here to stay. And yeah, and I'm really excited about the future. And like Unocoin, we just actually this is going to be our 10th year, right? Yeah, 2023.
Yes.
This is going to be our 10th year. We have to do a party in the office, but we should do like a virtual party. like invite all of our customers, like Zoom call
Yeah,
with like
I mean, we
200
can
people or
obviously do a
something.
little broadcast on our 10-year celebration, and that would be
It's
great.
coming up soon. It's coming up very soon, right?
December. Yeah, I know.
Yeah, we should plan something. Yeah, we should plan something and then like invite people, like, I don't know, like a virtual party or
I think we
something.
could really involve our old customers who maybe started off their crypto trading with Unocoin, and maybe they can join the call and it can be a live stream, and it would be great.
Yeah, yeah. And I guess we're kind of coming to the end, right? So yeah, I was just gonna ask people also, like, DM us and, email us if you want, tweet us, in terms of like how we can be better on Twitter. Like, what do you want to see more from our Twitter account and from our live streaming and all of that? Like, do you want us to do more Q&As? Do you want a specific guest that maybe we haven't had? Do you want us to write more threads on, topics and go deeper into it? But just let us know, and then, we can respond accordingly.
Absolutely, guys. We are always open to your lovely feedbacks, and that is what will help us to be better for you and to serve you better in terms of education, in terms of our service. So please let us know. Drop it down in the comment section, which is open in front of you, or you can tweet, at the rate Unocoin and tell us. Or there are multiple other ways. Our DM is always open, be it on Instagram, be it on Facebook, be it on Twitter. You can just let us know through that, and it would be really helpful, and we would be immensely grateful for that. So I think it was a very great and a very nicely interactive session, Sunny, and our audience was great today. You were, as always, amazing. So thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much to our lovely audience for being here today. I'll see you again next week, and sending you, of course. And please stay tuned. Keep following Unocoin. We'll see you again.